Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over how Great League has basically become a whole bunch of water types in the new meta, or the new season and new meta, I guess. And with that, we're going to join in, and I'm going to run 3 water types on the team. It's going to be Mantine in the lead with Whiscash and Lanturn in the back. The basic premise is, we're running 3 waters, so we're going to be pretty weak against grass. Luckily, Mantine also being part flying and having aerial ace, or wing attack and aerial ace, is going to give us more of a better matchup against the grass. So it's going to sort of be an ABB type team. Also, I'm running Ice Beam on Mantine. Not really looking to use Water Pulse, even though Water Pulse got the buff. I just think Ice Beam's a little bit better, and it gives us more coverage, especially against flying types in this meta. Also, Lanturn is going to be running Spark. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the video. But if you haven't, definitely subscribe. Helps me out a lot and shows you when the next video is coming out. So let's get into the battles. All right, so front here we have Mantine versus Steelix. The Ice Beam is going to be neutral, but at some point I am going to want to swap out. The thing is, I don't really want to swap out right now into Lanturn, and I can't swap into Whiscash because that's my hardest counter. So I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the Ice Beam and then dip into Lanturn, thus giving me some sort of advantage. Looks like here we got a shield advantage. Also, Mantine not really being hit too hard by Steelix's moves. Steelix usually runs Psychic Fang and Earthquake. Sometimes they run Crunch. All of that is neutral, and the thing about it is Mantine is bulky, so it can handle all of that. The only thing we'd be worried about here on the Lanturn is definitely the Earthquake. They didn't get to enough to go for an Earthquake, so I'm just going to continue to use Lanturn's bulk to try to win this matchup. I'm also being cognizant of I really need Whiscash to do something in the back. So with a Steelix out in front, it's going to be maybe tough to get Whiscash into a winning position. So here they come in Cresselia. I decide I'm going to switch in back into Mantine. I don't want them to farm up too much, so I'm going to come into Mantine. Aurora Beam, definitely not something you usually see. I think most Cresselias nowadays are running Grass Knot and Future Sight. Sometimes we see Moonblast, but usually it's those 2 charge moves. I know I can live one of those. I'm going to try to just go for an Ice Beam, and now we're really hoping that Whiscash is going to be good against in the back. Maybe that switch out wasn't great, but I think it's okay here. I'm actually going to come in with Lanturn and just take the move here so that I know he has energy, and I just want him to throw it here on this guy. And it does end up being another mon I don't really know about. Definitely in the first video we had the same thing. Behemoth? Is it Behemoth? Behem. You guys can comment below. I mean, throughout my YouTube, all of the videos I've put out, I mean, you guys know I'm not great at pronouncing Pokemon names or moves. Obviously, we're still in the early days of GBL here, so we're seeing Pharaoh. That I don't know what it learns. Aerial Ace. I actually think it does learn Brave Bird. They do come in into Electric type. I see that in the top right corner, so I decide I'm just going to come in with the Whiscash. I don't think, Kanto Raichu does know Brick Break, and Brick Break did get a buff in this season, causing a defense drop. But they threw a Thunder Punch, which is resisted, so yeah, we're just going to throw the Mud Bomb at them. And then they also have Exploud. Excuse me, Exploud? Yeah. So I mean, I don't know the moves this thing has either. I feel like just going Scald's good. We got the attack drop. Obviously, Scald didn't get nerfed in this season. A lot of people saying that's a bad move to not debuff it. Obviously, Scald is an insanely good move. So we're just seeing, I guess this season we're just going to see if Scald it holds up. The reason I kind of like what Niantic did in the sense that instead of nerfing a move, they ended up buffing a bunch of mon that are good against Whiscash. The only weird thing is we've come into this type of meta here that you see is like you could run all water mon and be good because water is so good in the meta. If you look at the PV Poke rankings, there's so much. I think someone said there's like I don't want to misquote it. I feel like there's like 20 or like 15 to 18 Watermon in the top 30 in Great League. So, all right. Next game here, Kangaskhan. It actually does have Mud Shot, it looks like, or Mud Slap, which, I mean, it does super effective damage here against Lanturn, but, it doesn't have a lot of bulk, so he has to shield everything that we throw. I'm just going to take this. It is an Earthquake. It makes me think that Mantine's probably just going to destroy this thing. I don't want to get hit by an Earthquake necessarily on Whiscash, and I know I can just handle it here. I know it also has Dragon Pulse because I've been hit with I played against someone in Sylph a way long time ago. I think it was actually season 1 where they power up punched, and I didn't know what Kangaskhan had, so I shielded it, and then they had the powered up dragon. What does it have? Outrage? I think it has Outrage. Yeah. All right, and they come in with Stun Fisk. Obviously, we can destroy this. It has Metal Claw, so we resist that as well. And I think they end up throwing right here, which means we know that it's... I think this is a Rock Slide. Oh, no, they had a ton of energy, but they ended up going with Muddy Water, which is interesting. And then they have a Seadra. I make sure to look at... this game is kind of one, but it's something to definitely think about when you're in more neutral or more close games that could end in either direction. We're trying to get out of here because we're debuffed, but since this mon is very frail in Kingdra, we end up getting to the third Mud Bomb, and that does KO. But we would want to save up a move if possible and throw it later when we come back in with Whiscash to remove that debuff from Muddy Water. All right, Mantine versus Diggersby. The only thing that we're really worried about here is Hyper Beam. But Mantine is super bulky, so I decide right away I'm not going to shield. I decide at the beginning of this matchup I'm not going to shield. I'm just going to take it because its secondary move is either Scorching Sand or Fire Punch, and probably both of those together aren't going to do enough with Hyper Beam to actually take out the Mantine. They end up getting desperate here and throw before they get to another move, or another Hyper Beam rather. So I decide not to shield that one as well. And yeah, we come out of this matchup huge. I'm probably going to be looking to switch. I do throw an Ice Beam here just because they're already down one shield. Oh, no, now they're down a shield. And then I do go into a hard counter matchup here because I want them to get out of here. But we'll take the Shadow Ball here as well. I'm good in the back with Mantine or Whiscash in this matchup. Both of them have a lot of bulk. It's just going to be neutral. So I don't have to save this hard counter. In fact, I was trying to hard counter him specifically so that he would swap and we would see that next Mon. But they end up staying in, and I'm just going to farm up as much as I can, just in case it's a double flyer comp, which is what I'm assuming it is at this point. Ends up being a water in the back. Makes sense. Both Mon are weak against Lanturn. They didn't want to swap into either, and they end up leaving. All right, Whiscash versus Mantine. This is a super good matchup for Mantine. I want to throw Aerial Ace right away just because... just in case they debuff me with Scald, I want to make sure I have that lead. And then I'm going to just... I kind of forgot Whiscash learned Blizzard, to be honest. Okay, Shadow Blizzard does a ton of damage. I wonder what their other move is. I think it must be Scald. Scald's too good. So... yeah, Shadow Blizzard. Shadow Whiscash with Blizzard. I don't know. All right, Goodra comes in. I throw an Aerial Ace instead of an Ice Beam just to try to get damage off. I definitely know that this learns Power Whip. I think it also has Aqua Tail, which has been buffed in this most recent patch for this season. So I can't let this go on to Lanturn. Lanturn is going to be resisted, whereas at least the Mud Shots and Mud Bombs are neutral against this Goodra. So yeah, we have to stay in here with Whiscash. Luckily, we already got shields down now, and I'm assuming this is going to... I actually make a big call here. I assume this is going to be Aqua Tail because I'm so low. They're not going to want to throw the big move. End up not shielding it. I'm going to end up taking this out, and then I'm hoping that Lanturn's going to have some good play here in the back, and it's Talonflame, and this is GG's. We resist everything it has. Incinerate, while being a very strong move, we're water type, so we resist the fire. And then it also has Fly as a charge move, or it has Brave Bird, but we resist either way. Yeah. So GG's there. All right, Dragalge. This was a little bit of a weird matchup. I decide I'm going to go right to Ice Beam, and then it's probably going to switch into Whiscash no matter what, just to hopefully see the next mon and see if it's a grass type. But I already knew I was going to be able to throw that move, so I wanted to throw that. It ends up being a grass type. It's Jumpluff. Jumpluff learns Fairy Wind as its fast attack, and then Aerial Ace, Acrobatics, and I think Energy Ball is the grass move. So Energy Ball would obviously one-shot. They're running Aerial Ace. So I would say usually Jumpluff's not running Aerial Ace. We actually win CMP, which is crazy. I guess it makes sense. Jumpluff is an XL Pokemon, so it goes above level, meaning it goes above level 40. Yeah, we're just going to let this go. We're going to come in Mantine. They already switched at the same time as we did, so their switch is up. We do win CMP here as well. I think our Mantine's not very good, so if there is a close CMP there, we're obviously going to win because we have super high attack. Now, I do want to throw right away because I think that Lanturn's going to have a good matchup in the back, so I just want to get out of this matchup because they've already shown Grass and they showed Dragon. Both of those things are good against Lanturn. They try to come back in with Dragalge, but they're already so low that even these resisted sparks are going to take it out. And then we're just going to take out the Skarmory with a Thunderbolt. All right, Clodsire can be a bit of a pain. It does learn Stone Edge, but they threw it 5, and I wasn't used to what 5 could be. And it ends up being Acid Spray, which I've not really seen before. I'm going to throw the Ice Beams. If they did go up to the Stone Edge, I would shield because we don't know what's going to be in the back, and I probably need to conserve this Mantine. But the fact that they're throwing just straight Acid Spray, I'm going to be fine with this matchup and then maybe look to switch in the next matchup. They end up switching into a hard counter, so yeah, we're getting out of that. And I'm going to go into the neutral matchup. Even though I'm behind on energy, which means I'm going to lose this matchup no matter what, I kind of just want to take time here and get my clock to come all the way back and then have Whiscash in here. It's almost like winning Switch, even though I'm sacrificing a complete Pokemon to do it. Obviously, we're getting so low here. Their counting's pretty good, or really good, and they throw a Surf before we make it to Thunderbolt. So they saved a bunch of energy here, but we're coming in Whiscash. This is a great matchup for us. It's also, we're the non-Shadow Whiscash in this video, as opposed to the last one where I was running the Shadow Whiscash. And they end up coming in with Medicham. I'm just going to throw the Scald, and then I'm going to dip. So the Lanturn matchup's so good, I don't really need to conserve the energy there on Whiscash. And I want to help Mantine out a little bit because Mantine's already down to like 45% from the Clodsire's Acid Sprays, which I guess ended up adding up. So I just want to make sure that I can win this matchup comfortably. Somehow I win CMP the first time around, so I decide, you know what, I'll go for CMP again, take as much damage as possible. It doesn't really matter. Obviously, we have 2 shields and a good matchup. That's going to be game. Brixen. Sweet looking Pokemon. Can't say that I've seen it before in Go Battle League. He ends up catching on a Lanturn. This is going to do absolutely nothing, but we do have the Whiscash, which is a hard counter to this Lanturn. Great. I'm going to switch. All 3 Mon good against Brixen. It's Fire type. Braxton? Oh my god, I've already forgotten. Sorry, guys. And yeah, obviously we win this matchup. We can take, I think it takes 3 Surfs to KO. So yeah, we're going to be good here. And they end up throwing Thunderbolt, which maybe they're single moved. Maybe they just saw the water typing. I'm not too sure. But you definitely want to be throwing Surf. We come into a neutral matchup. If it's a neutral matchup, I'm going to want to throw Scald. Could get a debuff. If I don't think, and we do get a debuff. If I don't think I can make it to a Scald, obviously we can throw Mud Bombs. They get a Night Slash, and they get the... Actually, the attack drop saved us here. We're going to get the Mud Bomb off. So, Primeape learns, I think, Close Combat, Night Slash, and Cross Chop, as well as with Counter. I try to switch. I miss the switch, actually. I don't know what moves this has. For all I know, it could have a Rock move. I decide to Shield because we have shields anyways. And yeah, we're just going to go for the water move, and this is going to be GG. We're very bulky with Lanturn into another neutral matchup of this Primeape in the back, and yeah, we're just going to be able to survive everything here. This is a tough matchup, so I think I end up trying to go for the catch here onto the discharge. This is obviously good against our whole team except for Whiscash, so I'm hoping that this catch has gained me some sort of advantage, whether I can get a shield advantage, whether I can win switch, whether or not later down the line I can get an energy advantage on Mantine and then throw ice beams, which are going to be super effective against this Stunfisk. So I end up going for one shield here because I have a ton of energy. I'm not too sure on the counts here. Obviously it's dynamic punch. I would assume 7 counters to dynamic punch. I should be throwing right when I get to the moves. I think I end up playing this out as if they're running a 3-turn move. They're obviously running counter. I'm going to save the shield. We need a bit of a shield advantage because obviously they have a Mon in the back that I'm not great against. But we did save up. We did have the energy before catching, so I am going to be able to get to this Ice Beam. So the question is, do I go for a catch or do I switch right away? I decide I'm just going to switch right away. A Mud Bomb's not going to do too much, even if it is super effective. It's just not too much. They end up throwing Discharge. And I'm just going to throw Surf right away. All right, we're going to see what their last Mon is here in the back. It's Gengar. So Gengar is super squishy. Look how much damage the Sparks did. Obviously, Spark got buffed several seasons ago. And one Surf ends up taking it out. All right, so that is the video for today. Thank you so much for coming by, and again, if you haven't, definitely hit the subscribe button. Come check out videos. I'm going to be trying to put them out every day, show my journey through GBL, hopefully to Legend, and yeah, y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.